everyone, my name is Zach, and this is a video on why physical books matter. I found that physical books make you read closer. You're more able to accurately engage in what you're reading whenever you're reading a physical book. I found that I myself have been less engaged when reading with an ebook. I don't struggle, but I don't enjoy it as much, and I don't really feel like I'm engaged with the story or the pages or the feel of the actual book. I feel like I need a physical book in order for me to actually feel the experience of reading the book as well. Additionally, people, well, when I say people, myself as well as other people, also tend to use shortcuts when reading through ebooks. I know I'm guilty of that definitely. Whenever I'm reading on a tablet or a screen, I generally just kind of swipe and scroll and generally just kind of try and get an overall summary of the book without actually having to read so much. It's a bad habit, and I know not everyone does it, but I think it's just a lot harder to do that with a physical book as well. So a physical book will actually force you essentially to read things in more detail. Physical books have a certain smell and certain nostalgic quality to them, and I feel that this definitely leaves an emotional impact, or more of a deeper emotional footprint to the reader or the physical book owner. I think it's really important because this allows you to essentially attach yourself to the book. You can't really do that with an ebook because it's very electronic, it's too digital, it's too new age, it's not the same feel that you get with a physical book. Just saying. They're more meaningful to share in that way, in the sense that they're also yours to own permanently, and by own, I mean own. You don't have to rent them or stream them in any way. You can actually own them. And yes, technically you can do that with ebooks too. However, you can't necessarily actually pass down an ebook to the next generation. Physical books remind us that this is not and should not be the future. Take a look. And that is a huge problem because that is the generation that we are technically basically living in nowadays society today, especially with the younger generation, my generation, that young children are getting so distracted by ebooks, and you can't really do that with a physical book. You can't get distracted by a physical book because there's nothing to get distracted by. Sure, you can daydream about the characters or what you've read, but you can't, there's nothing to actually distract you with the book. It's in your hand, you kind of read what you see, and there's plenty food for thought based on what you've read, but you can't distract yourself with anything else but the book. You're stuck with it. Physical books allow you kind of to like sleep more. I found, especially with myself, I find that whenever I read before I go to bed, it kind of like lets me drift asleep a lot more naturally and a lot easier, whereas an ebook, I'm in a generally dark setting. If the screen is on like full brightness, light is being transmitted at a very high rate, and this doesn't allow you to actually fall asleep. The light affects your vision. Another point to note and mention is that, for example, on a bus, you can't exactly see what someone is reading or try and engage in conversation with them through looking at a Kindle. You would usually have to ask them to find out, and that could go either good or bad, whereas you could literally just look at someone's book easily with a physical copy, and you'd be able to see the title, and you would then be able to ask questions or like a follow-up question such as, ooh, have you read the author's upcoming book, or what's this book about? Whereas you can't do that with a Kindle because it's a lot more secretive in that sense. Physical books are less distracting. I know that definitely when I've been asked to read assignments or just general stories on Wattpad or the internet or even just reading articles, I generally struggle or find myself getting distracted by doing something else on the internet, which you can't do with a physical book. With a physical book, you have to read what is right in front of you, quite literally. There is no other application, there is no other thing that you can do with a physical book but read it. You have no choice. With a Kindle or a tablet, you have the option to listen to music, browse the internet, play games, literally almost anything else but read the book. So therefore, physical books are less distracting and they allow you to focus more in that sense. With a physical book, I've got a physical book here. With a physical book, I could easily pass it on to someone else and have them immerse themselves in the same experience that I found myself in as well. And I think that's such an important thing. It definitely also creates as a good memory that you can serve or share with people in the future as well.